Hi, everyone. My name is Paul. As Rakesh mentioned, I look after the APJ region for ClickHouse. I've been on board for about a year and a half, and that whole time, India has really been leading the charge from a community standpoint and the take-up of our technology. This is my fourth trip to India in the past 16, 17 months, but my first trip to Mumbai. So it's great to see the turnout today. So we look forward to speaking to you a little bit further. A big thank you to Last9 and Aditya, who are going to be speaking today, as well as Sachin and Ernan, going to give another talk as well. I also want to introduce, I would say probably about 6 to 7 months ago, there was nobody that was in India that was an employee. So we have grown significantly just based on the use of our technology. We really are starting to invest a little bit more. I just wanted to introduce Rakesh and Anshul, who are joining our go-to-market team, just joined a few weeks back. If you guys could just raise your hand there. Lalit Mishra is going to be joining us here as our go-to-market lead across India. And then we've also got Piyush, who's running our support org out of India and has actually recently brought in a number of support engineers. So we're going to be giving a lot more dedicated support within the time zone to our users, and also more training. We're going to be focusing on more enablement, more community events, more meetups. So that's more to come. And then Kunal, Amog, and Kevin are ingestion engineers that have recently joined ClickHouse a few months back, well, I guess several months back now, with the acquisition of PeerDB and bringing up Postgres CDC tooling to our platform. So listen, I've probably spoken too much. I don't want to keep you from the more important information to hear how folks are using ClickHouse, but thank you all for coming out today, and we're around afterwards for a little bit of lunch and Q&A as well. So thank you again.
Talk about a very overview and introduction about ClickHouse, how we adopted it, and what was the journey of ClickHouse. Right? It's an amazing journey starting from 29 till now, 2025. We have done some amazing, cool engineering features. We're going to talk about that, and Aditya and Sachin are also going to cover really good architectures of how they adopted ClickHouse in their organizations, right? And how they are really leveraging the OLAP space with the help of ClickHouse. Yeah, my name is Rakesh. I am part of solution architect team based out of Bangalore. I mainly support all the GTM people out there in India. I come from a database and data warehouse background. I do have close to 13, 14 years of experience, all related to database. I was working for companies like Single Store, MongoDB, Imply, and ClickHouse now. All of these are different databases and different markets like OLTP, OLAP, HTAP, and etc. And ClickHouse, I'm really proud to be here, being the leader of the OLAP space, and we are capturing the entire India, and really excited, and warm welcome to you all. Yeah, this is how the journey has started, guys. So it's amazing. When we started ClickHouse as a product in 2009, so it was adopted as open source, and we took almost a decade to get into a licensed version with Apache in 2016, mid of 2016. So the global growth and adoption was really fast and vast. So if you see ClickHouse, the original or the main idea of ClickHouse evolved was because of the use cases of clickstream, right? So it was because of the data warehouses and the clickstream. That's where the word derived from clickstream data warehouse is called as ClickHouse, right? So a lot of other databases were not able to cater the needs of big data or the volume, velocity, and vastness of the data, how the data is growing, and that is where the ClickHouses emerged. And in mid of 21 was where ClickHouse was incorporated as a company. and we are based out of US as a headquarter, right? So from 21 to 23 is where our journey of adoption started. So we have commercial offerings of ClickHouse Cloud, and now we have also bring your own cloud as well, right? We'll talk more about that, and open source probably you might be all using it. The architecture is a little bit different, and the adoption has been crazy across India and APJ. It's really great. And we raised venture capital fundings in 21 and late 22, and we expanded our team. And by 2022, I think we have more than 150 people across the globe. The rapid innovation started from mid 2022, I believe. That is when we not just supporting OLAP, so we realized that the data which is coming is not just for analytical purpose. They are also evolving. They are also become versatile. We want to also support different types of data types, data models. That is when we introduce a lot of features and functionalities to ClickHouse Cloud and ClickHouse Open Source as well, which includes JSON support, and now we are recently bringing the inverted index, full text search, and the top priority for 2025 for the company is the joins, right? So joins were there in the beginning as well, but we are optimizing a lot so that it becomes a little bit transactional and heavy aggregations, right? So if you want to run tens of joins, then yeah, so we are optimizing that in 2025. That is one of the top initiatives company has picked up. Along with that, we are becoming a multi-model. We are no more just a schema-based database. So we have JSON support coming in. We are in beta stage, experimental stage, and we are supporting full text search, and we are also coming, a lot of innovation is going on with respect to ML and AI and generative AI use cases as well. So with that, so the product has evolved from a OLAP space, the journey, the OLAP database to a multi-model database, supporting a variety of data types, putting in one single place. Yeah, yeah, amazing numbers here. I think if you see ClickHouse Open Source as a great community, we have more than 39K stars. We are almost closer to TiDB and Apache Spark. I think we are going to beat them in next couple of months probably, and we are going to probably go to the top one according to modern data stack, right? And the adoption of ClickHouse Cloud also has been, this slide is pretty outdated. You can see some of the customers' names and brands, the logos there. So we have more than 300 to 400 customers across the globe. And yeah, as I said, we are there in all three major public clouds. The slide is a bit outdated. Azure is already there now. So available in AWS, GCP, and Azure as well. So very easy to sign up, and probably once we do a Q&A, I'll show you how to spin up a cluster and start using ClickHouse. So what is ClickHouse, right? So to summarize, right? So ClickHouse is a SQL distributed multi-model built for high throughput, low latency, which is really adopting by all the enterprises, which is looking for speed, scale, and agility. If you are looking for a database which want to handle high throughput, low latency at scale, then ClickHouse is the database you want to use it. So 3 or 4 parameter I would categorize, ClickHouse, right? So one is open source, as I talked about, great community, more than 39,000 GitHub stars. Column oriented. It's not like OLTP where you store records or data in a B tree kind of index and scan it all the way down. It's really good for single seek operations, but we are storing all the columns in a files, and we are using something unique engine called as vectorized engine, where all the data which you insert gets converted as granular data particles, which is called as parts. That is where the skipping and scanning of the records over billions and trillions of records comes into picture when compared to other open source and even other data products as well. Highly distributed, comes with replication. You can put the data across different nodes, different servers, go for a scatter gather mechanism, fetch the data easily. And we have biggest server, if I'm not wrong, Paul, I think we have a cluster running 4,000 cluster running in a customer environment, right? So 4,000 nodes. It's hundreds of terabytes of RAM, and look at the volume and the sales, right? OLAP database typically very good for analytical use cases, but as I said, it is evolving. We are not just becoming sticking on to analytical use case. Now, being a JSON support and becoming a versatile, if you have a OLAP system like Mongo supporting typically JSON or semi-structured kind of a data, we have a CDC, direct integration with Postgres, and Mongo is coming very soon. And you can bring all the data from your OLAP, OLTP system to OLAP system, a strong, solid system like ClickHouse, and get 100x performance. So that's what the value proposition, and that's what the USP you get when you move your data into ClickHouse. What are the different main use cases ClickHouse support? There are four categories we place ourselves. One is the biggest would be logs, traces, and events, and very close to it, it also comes with observability. Using tools like Grafana, monitoring and pulling your all the logs to ClickHouse and doing the heavy analytics on top of that, right? So that is one use case, and of course, real-time analytics and BI analytics is overlapping a little bit. Real-time analytics is becoming a boom now, and everybody talks about real-time analytics, and everybody needs real-time now. So nobody wants the data to happen 1 hour later once it arrives in the system, right? So with ClickHouse as a product, you get to see your dashboards become fastboards, and the data warehouse migrations. The data warehouse is becoming modernized with ClickHouse. That's what we meant, real-time analytics and the BI analytics as well. And lot of innovation, lot of engineering work has been going on with ML and AI work. And if you see, everybody might have used DeepSeek, right? Do you know which database they use under the hood? It's ClickHouse. Majority of their workloads is run with ClickHouse, along with other parts and vectors and things like that. And if you look at Rockset and other databases where the vectors, the indexes like ANN, KNN were used, and when they migrate the data from Rockset, kind of a RockDB kind of a databases to ClickHouse, you really need not to have those kind of indexes and making your system less efficient for high throughput. It is built to handle that. So a lot of innovation and effort is going on towards that. Really good to look at. We have a blogs about that, and how ClickHouse is powering DeepSeek as well, which is becoming top of the town now. We're really proud that they are leveraging ClickHouse as well. Okay, to summarize and key features, right? So as I said, ClickHouse is SQL based. So we are becoming more and more ANSI SQL now. Supporting joins is our topmost initiatives. We do support all kinds of joins, but optimizing the joins is what our main initiatives we have targeted. As everybody knows SQL, it becomes easier than using any other languages or for retrieving the data. Lots of writes, as I said, high throughput is one of our key area as well. When you talk about real time, as soon as the data comes into the system, you should be able to start retrieving the data. That's where real time comes into picture. We have few customers running a billion of writes or inserts per second, right? So we're not talking about millions. Now we are talking about billions of records per second. Distributed, it's highly replicated and sharded with ClickHouse open source, and with ClickHouse Cloud, interesting architecture. You have just one shard, shared nothing architecture. It's a limitless database. I'll show you the little bit difference of architecture between open source and ClickHouse Cloud architecture as well. So highly efficient storage, we get almost 10x to 20x compression, which dramatically reduces the total cost of ownership, right? So when you try and move the databases like legacy databases or even maybe Oracle, Postgres, Redshift. So when you start putting the data into ClickHouse, you can see almost 10x to 20x compression of ratio, and we all operate on encoded data. And the decompression of the data is where the vectorization of the engine comes into picture, and that is where we are mastered at, and that is the speed is coming into picture, the low latency, the fast queries. And joins and lookups, as I said, yeah, so joins and lookups is completely separating it. And some of the other key features with ClickHouse Cloud, like separation of compute and storage, multi-master, compute, all of those are really innovative, and I think you should all go and start the trial and start using it and see how it can speed up your data workloads. This is how you create a table. Very simple, very similar to how you create MySQL or Oracle, right? But the only difference here is, as I said, it is becoming more and more multi-model. You can see there's not just integer or strings. Now we are supporting full text search, full text index, and then you get into maps, arrays, JSON. So all of the data types are supported, and with different engines as well. So the main engine for ClickHouse tables are merge tree, and there are different other types of engines like replicated merge tree, which is typically used for deduplicating. If you have a lot of deduplicates, then replicating merge tree is what you want to use when you create the table. Collapsing merge tree is what if you have a lot of updates, then probably collapsing merge tree is what you want to use. And there are a lot of integration engine as well. So if you want to bring the data directly from Kafka, S3, RabbitMQ, it's all directory native connectors, and integrations is already there. While creating the table, you can integrate that engines, or we have something called ClickPipe. You can directly connect to various different data sources and bring the data seamlessly into ClickHouse. Yeah, this is important. How you insert. ClickHouse is mostly, as I said, it's part-based system. So if you start inserting a record by record, it's going to create a lot of granules, a lot of parts, and merging becomes very difficult. We always recommend you batch your inserts, maybe hundred thousands of records at a time, stream that even millions of records at a time, and create bigger parts. And behind the scenes, the engine will take care of merging those parts into larger chunks and putting that into disk. So all those things happens automatically. So little data modeling and how you insert, how you store, and how you sort the data is very important when you start using or leveraging ClickHouse. Reading the data, as you know, there's different ways of reading the data, right? We do support CDs, we do support views, we do support materialized views. Materialized view is actually interesting in ClickHouse. So we have two types of materialized views now. One is, you might have seen in other databases like refreshed materialized views. Now we are GA out for refreshed materialized views. So basically, materialized view is an insert trigger operation, right? As soon as you insert a record in your source table, it goes to a query which you have defined in the materialized view, and in a real time it gets and stored in the materialized view, so that your aggregation becomes extremely faster and extremely handy and manageable with ClickHouse. Yeah, this is the last slide. The difference between self-managed or open source versus ClickHouse Cloud. As I said, open source ClickHouse has an architecture with replicated and sharded kind of cluster, and we have something called Keeper, which holds all the metadata information, coordinates between all the nodes and servers, and you manage it by yourself, and yeah, so you get all the most of the features which is already there with cloud and with the open source. We push regularly all the updates to both cloud and open source at the same time. When it comes to cloud version, you can see there's a three categories, three layers of the architecture. One is where you start inserting or querying the data. It goes to a load balancer. It could be HTTP or it could be any other mechanism. You stream or read the data. It goes via the load balancer and then get started using the computes at the middle layer, right? So that is where the Kubernetes plus compute comes into picture, where all the management happens behind the scenes. And ideally, you store all the data in the object store, right? It becomes one shard, one limitless database, efficient for read and write. Whatever read you want, you can directly pick it from the S3 and cache it to the compute layer and serve it very fast. So it's a three-layered architecture, very optimized using query vectorized query engine, and there's a slight difference between the self-managed and the ClickHouse architecture.